Good morning and welcome to the April monthly partner meeting of our Michigan Financial Wellness Network. This is Kelly Masters, your chair, founder, and chief dot connector and cat herder. That's the other role that I fill. As I said a moment ago, we have a very brief formal agenda as a lot of partners are in the throes of Financial Literacy Month. And so attendance to this meeting, I know, is going to be a little bit lighter. Folks have just come back from spring break. Some folks are actually on spring break this week. So it depends on where you are in the state. And so I'm going to go ahead with just a few updates, and then we're going to get into some sharing and more, networking with the group who is here today. This year we have secured sponsorship, thankfully, from Ally Financial, our Michigan Credit Union Foundation, Raymond James, Anthem Advisors of Raymond James, Lake Trust Credit Union, and then of course our fiscal agent, the Michigan Council on Economic Education. So very grateful to all of them for stepping forward, not only with their time and talents, but also with their treasure. It does take money to do some of the things we do. So the last time we were together, we was right before the FemPreneur Summit, which was a smashing success, other than the technology challenge of my laptop that crashed. So I apologize to Dawn specifically, who was on via Zoom, but we were able to capture the majority of the day. It was just the opening remarks and the welcome, which was me. So it was my part that didn't get recorded, but that's okay. So we are in the planning stages of for next year already, and we've done a survey of our participants, and thanks to everyone who has responded, we have about a 28% response rate, which is pretty decent. I'd love to see more participants giving feedback, but we're doing, it's a 60-second survey. So thanks to everyone who completed that, telling us what they loved, what they didn't love, what they'd like to see in the future, and so forth. So for those in Southeast Michigan, a gift to women is from our karate school, PKSA on North Hill Road, and they are doing a gratis, a complimentary self-defense workshop for women. That is on April 23rd. It is for age 14 and up. So this is not a class for children. They do those, but this is not what this is. So it would not be appropriate for you to bring your 8, 10, 12-year-old daughter. However, if you would like to attend, it's 90 minutes, and it is going to be interactive and hands-on. This is not a sit down and lecture sort of thing. So that QR code on the screen, you can scan that with your smartphone and it would take you to the registration form. Although it is free, we do need to know how many people are coming so that we have adequate instructors. And it will be led by female black belts and advanced level karate students, including my 13-year-old daughter who's about to test for her red belt. So pretty exciting stuff there. So women who are listening or on the call today who are, want to come to, it's actually a Plymouth address, but it's on Northville Road. I know that's confusing. You're welcome to join us. We just ask that you register so that we can have adequate materials and instructors available. And the FemPreneur Summit was sold out. So we did have to actually turn some people away this year. So maybe next year when I say it's going to sell out, people will believe me because I could not accommodate everyone who wanted to attend, which is a great problem to have, I know. But it was fantastic and it was very powerful. So we're looking at doing it again, hopefully the same week next year in March. That is the plan. I am just waiting till after Easter so that we can talk with our hosting partner, Ward Church. That was fantastic to see if they would like to host us again. And if not, then we'll need to find another location that can accommodate 100 people and a robust marketplace. We had, I think it was 22 exhibitors this year, and others that wanted to participate, but again, it was limited based on space. So that is the update on the FemPreneur Summit. It was fantastic. The feedback was overwhelmingly 4s and 5s on the evaluation scale. So thanks to our panelists and our speakers and our sponsors, our caterer was amazing, and the participants were really just incredible women. It was a was a powerful day. So hopefully folks will join us on the 23rd. We do have availability for up to 50 women to participate, and we're at 35 now. So we have room for about 15 more people. And then update on our Smart Money Michigan Kids Read. You all know that this was an original book that we had worked on for almost 3 years, and I finally have them in my hot little hands. Thanks to the little mighty but small crew from Community Financial Credit Union that came out to the Novi Library. Amazing. Novi Library is our partner, who receives our many pallets of 12,000 books that we break down and then pack and distribute to participating libraries. And those were sent out on March 5th. So everyone has them, except for there were a couple of, we don't know what happened, a couple of challenges that libraries didn't get their books, but they are on their way. And thanks to the Grosse Pointe Library for alerting us that they received 250 copies that they did not request. And so I was able to track those down, and they are headed off to Dearborn Heights, where they belong. Dearborn Public Libraries. So that is handled, as well as one or two other little hiccups that have been handled. And so library story times are taking place across Michigan and throughout the month of April. And I hope everyone loves this book and loves these characters as much as I do. And I know that I'm partial because I feel like I've birthed them, but Owl and Otter and all of their friends are across the state of Michigan, and this book will be made available to the public for purchase. It is a Penguin Random House publication, and it is scheduled to be available in their catalog in September. So Michigan children are the first ones ever to have this book and to meet these characters and to learn the lessons that they learn on this adventure of lemonade sales and cookie sales and learning to count and serving customers and entrepreneurship and problem solving and teamwork and all of these wonderful lessons that are taught by these adorable characters. So if anyone has any comments or questions about the Smart Money Michigan Kids Read, feel free to unmute yourselves. And obviously a huge shout out to our Michigan credit unions who sponsored this book and have done so now for the last, I think it's been 7 years we've been doing this program. So thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of books have gone home with children from story times over these last 7 years. Any questions or comments about this book or this program? It's such an intimate group, we might as well do it along the way. Yeah. Hi, Dawn.
Hi. I was just going to let you know that I picked up my copy that you sent through the interlibrary exchange. So this was at a small library in Schoolcraft, the community that I grew up in, a little small village. And I went in thinking that I was going to ask them if they participate and tell them all about the Michigan Kids Read program. And they're like, Dawn, we already know about this. We do this. And I'm like, you do? I'm like, well, do you do a story time? They're like, we do. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I mean, there you go. It's happening. And the librarian was very excited to see, and I kind of just emphasized the original work and how fun it was to see it in its progress, and they're excited about it. So that was so cool. And I did also share it with the group last night. We had a professional development series at Carissa last night, and shared it with a group of people that were excited to see it in the elementary space, and just the Finlet activities that went with it and stuff. So very cool.
Yes. Well, and, I mean, thank you, Dawn, because you were able to get us some early childhood people, who are actual teachers. And, some of us are parents, some of us are librarians and story times, but it was really important I felt on our task force when we were developing this story that we had someone from early childhood education. And so thank you for making that happen for us, and for your staff people who gave their input in the process. So this is a book that we hope classroom teachers will find value in, and maybe districts can purchase copies for library, classroom libraries. I know most elementary schools have their, classroom teachers have a little library in their classroom, as well as, reading consultants in the buildings. It's a great way to get a twofer. It's written at a level to help with that third grade, reading goal. But also has some money lessons in it. So it really is kind of I think it's a twofer, plus the teamwork aspect and the problem solving aspect. And so we wanted to make sure that classroom teachers could also accomplish some of the things that they're held to fulfill, right? The metrics that they're held to. And so that is our hope, right? That classroom teachers and K-12 educators will be able to leverage this, as well as, our public libraries. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, I was also going to let you know too that one of the ideas that we were talking about here is how this could be a great support for summer school, summer
Yes.
camp. So working with students that maybe need some additional support, help in math areas or reading. I mean, this is a great tool and resource to help them. So I've got some ideas for the camps that we're involved in Kalamazoo and Comstock Elementary School. So
awesome.
yeah.
Yes. And then there's the activity supplement, right? So in addition to the book, and there's a glossary in the back, which is fantastic. It goes in a little bit more depth about, money and piggy bank and the concept of saving. And then there's addition, of course, and then a savings account. So tying in our credit union and bank partners, supply and demand. So again, these are concepts that can be scaled up for a little bit older students, or, not focused on as much for maybe younger children, but then of course, teamwork as well. So that's in the back of the book, but then the activity supplement, I did get that to you as well. Didn't I, Dawn? Did I give you the, okay.
Yep, you did. It's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, that was fun to do as well. That was fun to put together. All right. So if there are no other questions or comments on our Smart Money Michigan Kids Read program, I will move on. And just know that I'm already talking with the publisher about 2024. So with the thought of, being very hopeful that our financial support will continue so that we can do this again next year. And so we're looking at options of other books that might already be in publication, already be in, I have to run. Oh, Trisha. Okay. Yes. So I will record it. You can catch the rest of the meeting on your own time. Thank you for coming though, and for the information about Wigs for Kids. So I'm talking with the publisher already about next year and looking at what other books might already be in publication that we could use, or the possibility of, if they're interested in putting skin in the game to do another book, we might do that. So we'll see. Stay tuned. And let's see. Okay, so then funding the future, we do still have a couple of openings. This is the updated schedule as of yesterday or 2 days ago. So we still have openings on May 1st and 2nd, for sure. Those days are completely open. And then we also have like the possibility of a second show on April 26th, 27th, and then May 4th and 5th, because we have a show booked already on those dates. But depending on location, if it's proximity, then we might be able to do a second show on those dates. So again, if anyone has connections with middle or high schools in Michigan, these are the dates for the spring tour of Funding the Future, and Gooding is going to be here in Michigan for those 2 weeks. So yeah, I just wanted to raise that. I'm going to reach out to I have a couple of new middle and high school connections. So I'm going to float this past them. I know it might be a quick turnaround, but it's such an incredible value and such an incredible opportunity. Sometimes I think we have to just figure out how to make it work, right? Just do it. And so those are the dates that are still available for the spring tour. Does anybody have any questions about what this is, or questions about logistics? I can put you in touch with their scheduler to get something on the calendar, but this is the full-on rock band, successful rock band that comes and does a show, like an actual show not singing about money, but their actual produced music. And then the band leader comes out and does the actual presentation with content that is appropriate for a teenage audience.
Is there a link, Kelly? Because I tried looking them up online to send it to our partners, and I wasn't able to find a link I could send over.
Who is that? Who's talking?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Lacey?
Lacey. Okay. So there is, and I believe if it's ftflive.org.
tflive.org.
I'm screen sharing, so I can't really see who's talking. You know what I mean?
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, it's ftflive.org, I believe. I'm just. Yes, it is.
Okay.
ftflive.org. And then you'll see the Financial Literacy Rocks Funding the Future. So the information is all there. And if you want to do a screenshot or just write down these dates, these are the dates that we have open on the schedule. We would love to get a couple more schools booked.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry that, yeah, I guess I could have, I don't know, but yeah, it's ftflive.org. Awesome. All right, now our next big thing, I still have availability. I have funding available for our Smart Money Magic Show. This year is brand new, Adventures with Money, and our performer comes from Bay City. So if you have schools in Flint, this is a great video that, thank you, Dawn. I was going to ask you if you would be able to post something, but I didn't want to put you on the spot because I know you have brought them to KRISA. So, so for the magic show, I am looking for elementary schools in low income communities, specifically in Flint, Pontiac, and Southeast Michigan. So, because that is where our sponsor, that's their primary, market here in Michigan. They're in Charlotte, but they're also in Detroit. So I have funding for 24 performances, and I have funding still available for this spring for, I think it's 8 shows. So if you work with elementary schools, and it is a K-5 school assembly model, I would love to get the information to people who can make decisions. And sometimes it's the principal, sometimes it's a counselor, sometimes it's a classroom teacher, right? It could be a math consultant or social studies consultant, because math is actually in social studies in elementary schools. It's where it lives. So the only criteria is that they are in a school, or they are a school that has at least a 51% free or reduced lunch rate. That's how we quantify whether they're an LMI school, because I can't ask for, household income and all of that stuff. So just to make it easy, we use that 51% or greater free reduced lunch metric. Okay. And believe me, a lot of schools qualify for the show. So right now I have shows booked in Belleville, Brownstown, Charter Township, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, Redford, Romulus. I have a couple pending in Westland. And we'd love to bring the show to Pontiac, possibly Flint, possibly, or more areas in Southeast Michigan, right? So lots of districts could qualify: Garden City, Lincoln Park, Ecorse. And I know we're kind of running out of time, but we have still probably 6 or 7 dates available in April. And we have all of May to work with, outside of a few dates that are blocked, but we have the entire month of May that we can work with as well. So if you have contacts who you think would like to benefit from this really fun educational magic show that teaches basic money lessons using magic and humor and audience participation, a typical show is between 300 and 500 students, typically crisscross applesauce on the floor of a gymnasium, or they might have an auditorium. We can do it wherever, like wherever they congregate their children, we can do that show. It's fully self-contained. All he needs is access to electricity, brings his own sound system, all of his props, the whole thing. We need a fun-loving audience. We need the adults to stay in the room, because we've had that happen where, kids gather and then teachers went and did, I don't know what. So we have to have the staff stay in the space, and then just access to electricity. So, and it's really fun. The other thing that's cool about this is that Ally has a book. They actually have a series. They have 2 books, Adventures with Money. And this is one of them, Planet Z and the Money Tree. So it's a space theme. And the children in the school, it's K-5, they come to the assembly, and the book was written for a 1st through 3rd grade audience. And so the children of the school that host this, those 1st through 3rd graders will receive a copy of the hard copy book to take home and keep. So the whole school gets to participate in the assembly, and staff love it as much as kids. It's very fun. And then students in that school that are 1st through 3rd grade get a copy of the book to take home. Okay. So anybody have any questions about this? Comments, concerns, thoughts? We're also doing a show. I'm meeting with them on Friday to do a public show, hopefully at one of the Boys and Girls Club locations in Flint. So there could be a public show available. And we're also working to nail down a public show in Detroit at the Wayne County Community College District, one of their campuses. So we've got a couple of public shows, one in Flint, one in Detroit, and then most of them will be private shows in qualifying elementary schools. So you can always email me too. Like if you think of questions or whatever, and beyond the meeting, obviously you guys all can email me at mifinancialwellness@gmail.com. So those are all the updates I have. Just make sure these dates are on your schedule. May 3rd and June 7th are for sure. And then I haven't formally announced this, but I was looking ahead at the calendar. And for the fall, I think we'll do more like the 2nd Wednesday of the month, just because we have Labor Day to contend with. And then it felt very rushed this year. It was like we just met and then we met again. October was like right on top of us. So these are the dates that you can pencil in, and I will confirm once I kind of look at, make sure I don't have conflicts with anything else. But I'm looking at potentially the fall schedule being September 13th, October 11th, November 8th, and then December 6th, obviously avoiding major holidays and, election day and so forth. So those are the dates that I have on our schedule. And one of my next priorities is going to be determining what platform I'm going to move forward with on our monthly e-newsletters. So I'm going to ask everybody now to, there's only a few of us on the call. I would love if any of you have thoughts, if you work with nonprofits or are involved with electronic communication, what platforms do you use? I know, Constant Contact is common. MailChimp is fairly common. What do you guys use in your, it's different if different if you're a school district or, a large organization, you have probably a corporate system, but I'm curious to know if anybody has any insights or suggestions on what I should evaluate.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Ruskowski. I'm actually the marketing manager at TVA Credit Union in Traverse City. So I'm new here. So hello. I love your programs. I wish some of them were up in Northern Michigan. I'm kind of sad. So maybe that's something you guys can look at.
Yes. So what I will say is part of the reason that our Smart Money Kids Read, initiative was so attractive.
Yes. And we're taking part in that.
Yes. So when we first started that was my goal, was to take things out of Southeast Michigan and make them available statewide. And so that was one program that we were really determined, and we figured out, how to do that, how to get books into the, local communities. And this year, our attempt at the FemPreneur Summit, making a remote option available, that was brand new. And the idea was we'd love to have female entrepreneurs from around the state be able to participate, even if it was in like satellite locations where they were streaming in content that we were providing from a from a, a Southeast Michigan location, so that, you didn't have to the heavy lift of doing these events in your community, but you could still be the gatherer, right? And
Correct.
so it just got too, it was the conference was happening so fast, and I wasn't able to pull it off. And so I'd love for maybe to have a conversation if you're interested, if female entrepreneurship is something that is of interest to you. Maybe we could have a conversation about how could we bring that to Traverse City, maybe do a satellite event. Dawn and I had some good conversations about doing something similar in Kalamazoo. And if there was interest from TBA, here in Southeast Michigan, Lake Trust was all over it, Lake Trust Credit Union. And they've already told me they want to come back next year as the sponsor. They thought it was amazing. So would that be something you'd be interested in looking into?
Yes, I would love to chat about it.
Okay. And Dawn, what do you think? Is that something you want to continue to explore together?
Yes, definitely. And I think that some of our credit union friends here that we've included in conversations would definitely be interested in gearing up for next year too. So yeah, let's talk.
Mary Beth, could you do me a favor?
Sure.
Could you send me an email so that I have all of your contact information, phone, cell, text, email. So send me an email at mifinancialwellness@gmail.com.
Okay.
And just, put FemPreneur Summit or something. And then maybe, you and I, and maybe Dawn, because you and I have had a lot of conversation about this. Maybe the three of us, it'd be cool. Maybe we have a trifecta. There's a Southeast Michigan, there's a Traverse City, and there's a Kalamazoo, right?
I love it.
So maybe we could have a conversation, the three of us, about the how and the when and the, doability.
Sure, that sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And Mary Beth, I can also share with you the recording of this year's event so that you can just kind of skim it if you're interested. We're already talking about changing the format for next year. Instead of a series of panels, maybe do a series of deep dives, like 15 or 20-minute deep dives, more of the how-to. This year was really about giving people a hug. For a lot of women, it was the first large event they had been to in 3 years. So it was a lot of like wellness, women's wellness, but there was obviously business application as well, but we're already talking about changing it up. So I can share with you an example of what we did this year, but each year we take the feedback from our participants and we continue to evolve the event so it meets the needs of those who come.
Great.
And then, as far as the Smart Money Magic Show, that is another major initiative that there's nothing saying we couldn't bring that show to other parts of the state. It would just require funding from someone, because Ally right now has been our sole underwriting partner. And so based on where they need to have, community engagement, that dictates where I can take the show. But we could also, Mary Beth, we could also have a conversation about, would you like to be a sponsor of that initiative where then we could have like a tour, a Traverse City tour where, maybe we do a series of shows in elementary schools in Traverse City. And
yeah, no, one of our initiatives for our credit union is obviously financial education for students, and we do run student-run credit unions at local schools here. So there's such a connection. I love it.
Yeah. Well, let's have that conversation. I mean, honestly, I can keep him very busy, and we've done the work. We've done the work to create the show, right? Like the shows exist. We have 2 versions now. And so even schools that hosted our first Smart Money Magic Show before the pandemic, we can go back to those schools now because Adventures with Money is a different show, if that makes sense. So I would love to talk with you about the possibility of funding for a magic show tour up in your area. So yeah, let's talk about that too. Again, it just
Right.
requires funding. I mean, honestly, that's,
Mhm.
we already have done the work. We have the content, we have the program. We know how to do it and do it well. And schools give us great feedback. So it would just be a matter of getting it organized and getting it funded.
Okay, great. Thanks for the information.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for being here and for saying, hey, we want to do more. Who has something they want to share? Lacey, I know what's going on with you guys. I don't know if you're still there.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mouse to unmute. We have a lot of events coming up, partnerships with local libraries. And we had our first event yesterday with a new library partner with the Owl and the Otter book, and it was a fantastic event. The youth librarian there really went all out and used some of the back pages of the book and did cutouts and had the kids coming up and identifying coins and counting the cookies and the otter toes, and it was a really good event. So I'm looking forward to our upcoming events that we have as well.
Hey, do you guys use, so this goes for everybody. Do you guys use social media like Facebook or Twitter?
Yes.
So I would love it if you posted pictures and tag me.
So actually we're posting them today. I will let the social media person know. Do you want her to tag you or the Michigan Financial Wellness Network?
Both. I mean, so
Okay.
on Facebook, you know, we're MI Financial Wellness, and on Twitter it's My FinWellNet. MI FinWellNet, right there on the bottom of the screen. If
Okay.
you wanted to screenshot that. So on Facebook, it's MI Financial Wellness. And then on Twitter, it's MI FINWELLNET. So they could tag our initiative, but they certainly can tag me too. You know, I'm Kelly Masters on Facebook, and then I think I'm Kel Masters on Twitter.
Okay. Yes, I will let her know this.
Right, then I can share it out. And I would love that. I'd love to get some visuals captured of things happening all over the state, because I can't get everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, and the same for you, Mary Beth and Dawn. You know, if you're able to take pictures, if your organizations do social, please tag me, and then I can share those out.
Absolutely.
So Dawn, any updates about what's going on with the FinLit Fanatics?
Yeah, our last meeting was really cool. We had Gooding Zoom in with us from Nashville. So
Nice.
Funding the Future, you know, we're just talking to them about information and resources I could share. And then through those conversations, it led to this whole thing where he agreed to Zoom in and meet our FinLit Fanatics Kalamazoo team. So they were so impressed and just really, you know, they could feel his passion and, you know, the why behind it. So it was so wonderful. Tomorrow, that group meets again, and we're looking at, well, at KRISA, where I work, we are building a new world-class CTE center that's going to be located on 94, where near the current place that the Wings, K-Wings hockey team plays, the event center there. So we are building this, you know, beautiful brand new center, and in that creation of the center, we've also created some new goals and metrics, and part of those goals focus on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So I love that KRISA has committed to financial literacy and entrepreneurship in our Career Connect goals, and it's right there in black and white. So our team tomorrow will be looking at those metrics and trying to come up with some creative ways that we can support financial literacy education and meeting those goals all together, you know, and just how we can have fun and get people fired up. So yeah, so that's going to be a great meeting tomorrow. And other than that, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm trying to get some people interested in those 5-1, 5-2 dates for Funding the Future.
Yeah.
And trying to do some budgeting stuff with some middle schoolers also. So Western has a reality fair Friday, and one of our Finlit fanatics is a Western guy. He is hosting this. I think he has 3 schools attending. Arbor Financial Credit Union is part of that moment. Our team will be going to support. It's wonderful because we all come together. We all have our own reality fairs, but we support each other in our, own space too. So
Right,
it's a team effort. So
right.
that'll be fun
That's
for Friday.
awesome.
Yeah.
When you say it's at Western, you mean the university?
Yeah, Western Michigan
Okay.
University.
I didn't know if you had like a high school named Western,
Oh,
so-
yeah. No, WMU. Yeah. So I think he said he has 120 maybe students showing up. And it's a little bit different, than ours and what Arbor offers too. So it's a good mix. So should be fun.
Post pictures
Yes,
of all
definitely.
this stuff. Post pictures.
Definitely.
Awesome. Do you guys have any questions of me or comments? Or I'd love to know, what would you guys like to do in future meetings? I mean, I know building relationships is good. Like today, right? Dawn, Mary Beth, we're going to get together. Like that magic happens when we show up, right?
Mhm.
But are there speakers that you guys would like me to try and bring in? Are there topics you'd like to learn more about in this general, umbrella of financial literacy?
I know one thing that I wrote down today was when Mary Beth was speaking, and she mentioned her student-led credit unions,
Yes.
student-run credit unions. That kind of piqued my interest. I know that they happen in different areas, and I would love to see what that might look like in Kalamazoo, where we could have kids work within, and so they're getting some job skills,
Yeah.
and also the financial literacy aspect of it. So I would love, when there's a topic, just to be able to learn more about it. So that's kind of cool. And you did a little bit of that last year with, you brought in some speakers for like the top 5 or 5 minute or whatever.
5-minute feature. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And a
that was
couple
cool.
months ago, I had Fee in, right? Foundation for Economic. I
Mhm.
don't know if you were there. I don't know if you were there, but so she was really helpful. That's a speaker bureau that everybody can tap into. If you haven't gone to Fee, I think it's just fee.org, Foundation for Economic Education. They have national speakers on all kinds of social studies topics, including financial literacy. And they will either by Zoom, or if there's a large enough student population, they will bring speakers into your schools at no cost to you, based on their sponsors, their funders. So yeah, that was one that I brought in recently. That was a suggestion. But yeah, student run. I didn't know you didn't have student run credit unions, Dawn. I guess I just assumed you did.
No, we don't. We've kind of had some conversations with some of the larger districts, like, wow, this could be so great. And also get the city of Kalamazoo involved. What about child savings accounts? I mean, we've had lots of conversations, but just no one willing to move it forward. So I think they just need to know, how that there's a process and it's being done and they're successful in other places, and we can do it too. So I'd love to connect with Mary Beth and just learn more about it too.
Well, it sounds like the 3 of us have a lot to talk about. So we'll find a time. But I will also tell you that here in Southeast Michigan, there's my daughter, we opened her first savings account when she was in kindergarten. And she was the marketing director for the student run credit union at her elementary school. And so we have a credit union model here in Northville, and really South. They have a large footprint. They have a very large financial education staff, so yeah, it is like a well-oiled machine. So if you want somebody else to talk to in addition to Mary Beth, they have it down. Like, they're in all 6 of our elementary schools, and this is just in my district, right? So, but they are also in a number of communities in this area, and they also do them in the middle school. I don't know if they have them at the high school, but they definitely have them at all of our middle schools and all of our elementary schools. And so they've got it down to a science.
Yeah, I'd love to learn more about it.
Okay.
At every
So
grade
maybe
level. So yeah, if early grades or if it's being done well in the high school level somewhere, I would love to hear. Yeah.
Middle school for sure. Mary Beth, do you guys do student run credit unions at the high school level?
No, we target 5th grade.
Oh, it's fifth grade. Okay.
Yeah, we target fifth grade. I think one of our schools is right now doing fourth grade. I'm not really sure why. And then also we do reality fairs. In fact, we're doing one tomorrow at one of the high schools in Traverse City. It's like
Sure.
3 sessions, so it's an all day. My staff will be tied up all day with that.
And
So,
it's
but
in
it's fun.
person?
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Because I talked to a credit union recently. I have a group of elementary schools in Southwest Detroit, which if you know anything about Southwest Detroit, it's an economically, kind of challenged area, and a lot of Spanish speaking residents. And the credit union said they do it like they do it like with devices. They don't have, like, the reality fairs that I've been to were like, you go to a station and you talk to people and so it was like staffed. But this credit union said that they do it on a device. Like, it's all electronic. They don't have like.
Yep. And MCLU does have their own reality fair that you can download, which I just did because we do have the in-person one that we've been using for years, and we need to update it with current stats. Let's just say that. And
Okay.
so I talked to MCLU and I got access to theirs, and theirs does have an app that they can go on and punch their numbers in that way. But I just received it this week. So I need to look into it a little bit more to see if we need to keep ours and update ours or transfer over to theirs.
Yeah, I'm curious though how that works, because having, and I know it's a lot, it's a staffing burden, I know, but to have, to go to different stations and talk to real people from, credit union or other volunteers who just guide the students in their thought process is so valuable, as opposed to just having it online.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious to
we've
know
done
how
them
that
both
works.
ways. Yeah, we've used the app that the Credit Union League offers because Arbor Financial Credit Union has it. And so I've seen it both ways. It can be fun with the app too, but I really like the old school paper and pencil. We set up 10 to 12 stations, and our people are coached to upsell, because we want to have the kids, we want them to have their budgets, busted, or, have them to rethink things and go back and erase and, revisit and stuff. So we just met with a middle school, 8th grade. We did a pilot there, and we kind of played more on the career connection. So we had the students pick their top 3 career choices from their Zello career platform that our school district's using, Kalamazoo County.
Yes.
So they plugged those in, and then I went through and we looked up the median income for those careers in Michigan, and then plugged them into their budgets so they could see what their monthly budget would be, their net pay. And then they traveled with their pencil and their paper and notebook, and they did the calculations. And those conversations and those moments are so powerful. I mean, you just walking around, it's so good. And I think the app is great, but I love the old school style, I think, better. So
that's really good feedback.
yeah, and we didn't allow, some of the students, the top 3 choices in Kalamazoo. I mean, one of them is pro athlete, right? Every kid thinks that they're going to be the next NFL or NBA player. And we eliminated that as an option because we always, not that we want to kill dreams, but we always say, what's your plan B, right? So, so their counselor said, they're not going to allow you to plug in your athlete, moments. So we're going to go with your option 2 or 3. And so it was, it was good. It was really good. Career connections.
Yes, that's awesome. So that's interesting. So some schools start the student-run credit union at different grade levels.
Mm-hmm.
I think at our elementary school, I want to say it was 2nd grade. It was open to 2nd through 5th. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was young. Because I was thinking it was kindergarten, but it wasn't. I think we had to wait a couple of years. I think it was 2nd grade when that started, and she still contributes now, and she's an 8th grader.
Did she keep her job, the same job all year long, Kelly, then? You said she was the marketing director or something, or?
She was in elementary school. In middle school, she doesn't do that anymore. But yeah, in elementary school, she really liked that communication piece, surprisingly, right? Shocker. And I think there might have been a semester where she was a teller or a runner or a something or an auditor or something, like those different jobs, but she really liked the marketing piece. And so what that meant was, the kids would get together and they would create the posters that got hung in the school. They did the student announcements on the PA system in the morning. They would give a little like write up for the principal to put in the, listserv that went home. So it was those marketing pieces, again, life skills, job skills, right? So I love everything about a student-run credit union.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I can't wait to learn more from you guys on that. So
maybe I'll put something together and, Mary Beth, if you're willing, maybe I'll have you give, kind of explain the model that you guys use. And then maybe I'll see if I can get another credit union that does it a different way. And so,
Sure.
Maybe we do a little bit of a deep dive either at the May or June. And it doesn't have to be formal. I mean, this is a pretty friendly group, right? Like it's not, yeah, so let's look at doing that either May 3rd or June 7th.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. And I look forward to seeing you, same time, same place on May 3rd. And you guys enjoy this spring. Hopefully we don't get the devastating weather that they're forecasting for today, and everyone stays safe.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes,
too.
thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.